Hello everyone, my name is Shay, Garcia, Yamashita, and this is my project on practicing sustainable living. So why should we care about sustainable living? Well, living in Hawaii, about 80 to 90% of our food is imported from cargo ships, and because of cargo ships, they do a lot of vulnerable disasters and environmental impacts, and it increases our global carbon footprint. And so because of these shipping containers can cause environmental impacts such as air pollution and water and oil pollution. So not only does the carbon dioxide get released to our atmosphere, but they can also um, have oil spills, and debris from the container ships can be put into our oceans, which can affect our marine life. And so it was estimated that one cargo ship produces the same amount of pollution as 50 million cars, which is insane. Like, oh my gosh. So we need to do something about it. So the purpose of my project is to practice sustainable living by creating my own sustainable garden. And the purpose of my garden is to produce vegetables that my family and I eat on a daily basis so that we can decrease our dependence on buying produce from grocery stores. And so my goal is to have a functioning garden that I can depend on. And so some of the things that I do have in my garden are tomatoes, manoa lettuce, green and regular onions, and sweet peppers and long squash. And I have two other plants, sage and lilikoi, just because I love lilikoi juice and my mom loves to sage our house. But I do notice, I've been noticing some insects have been eating my lilikoi plants. So for the term of pesticide, I've been using Dawn soap and water. So some other sustainable techniques that I learned along the way, that sustainable living is not only based on creating a garden, but it's also supporting your local community. So I have been depending most of my material from local companies within my community. So when I created my garden bed, I used 2x4s from my house, and my local hardware stores here in my community to create my garden bed. My garden bed is 4x11 to about 1.5 foot tall. But everything was from my community, and I bought my organic soil that involves organic material and fertilizer from my local community's nursery, which is island topsoil. And they also have different types of blends. So the blend that I purchased was the Hawaiian blend, which contained a lot of organic material and organic fertilizer. They have a pig farm up there, so I think that's where the fertilizer is from. And they also have compost already all mixed into the blend. But we are not all perfect, so I had multiple tries and errors when doing my garden. Um, However, it is a lesson that we learn from these errors that we increase our understanding of gardening and plants. So when I first started out, I started my plants, I started germinating them into pots, and I would water them every day and put them out in the sun. However, I forgot to water them one day and take them out of the sun, and so they shivered up and died, and so I had to start over again. And so instead of germinating them, I put them straight into my planter box. However, beets were one of my produce that I planted in my garden, but I have not seen results. So this is my garden, and in this little empty aisle is where my beets are supposed to be. So I noticed that every vegetable was growing except for my beets. Sometimes it's the environment that we live in that some plants don't grow. I live in more of a warmer area in my area. Um, Sometimes seeds can be duds. Um, so as of right now, I planted regular bell peppers in the place where my beets are. So hopefully they grow. Sad. But coming back, the methods I used was love, care, and maintenance, and these I believe are the key factors of plant growth. These are the methods that I was taught in my culture when it comes to caring for the land, so that is what I wanted to implement. And I noticed that my garden is flourishing. Um, and a project that I'm starting right now is doing my own compost. So right now I have just regular dirt from my yard, some dead grass, and some vegetable cuttings, and eggshells. But yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye.